Wolves are apex predators. They hunt in coordinated packs, communicate with precision, and have been known to drive bears off kills and hold their ground against animals far larger than themselves. In almost every ecosystem they occupy, wolves are at or near the top. Almost every ecosystem. Because in one part of the world, there is a single animal that wolves will abandon entire territories to avoid. Not because they can't fight back, but because they know better than to try.
To understand what that animal is, you first need to understand what wolves are capable of. A gray wolf pack operates as a coordinated unit, each member knowing its role, working together to exhaust prey, and capable of taking down animals as large as bison and moose. Individual wolves can cover 30 miles in a single day, and their territorial instinct is powerful enough that packs will fight other packs to the death over hunting grounds. These are not animals that give up territory easily. So when researchers tracking wolf packs in the Russian Far East started noticing something unusual, entire packs vanishing from regions they'd occupied for years, seemingly without conflict, it took a while to understand why. The answer is the Siberian tiger, also known as the Amur tiger. The largest cat species on Earth, weighing up to 700 pounds, capable of killing prey as large as brown bears, and uniquely adapted to survive in some of the harshest winter conditions on the planet. Siberian tigers are solitary, largely silent hunters that move through deep forest with almost no detectable presence until they choose to be seen. And in the Sikhote-Alin mountain range of the Russian Far East, they share territory with gray wolves, or rather, wolves share territory with them. And the difference in how that dynamic plays out is what makes this story so remarkable. Researchers from the Wildlife Conservation Society spent years tracking both species across overlapping territories in this region, fitting both wolves and tigers with GPS collars to follow their movements in real time. What they found was striking. In areas where tigers were actively present and moving, wolf pack activity dropped dramatically, not just in terms of how often wolves were seen, but in terms of how often they were detected by camera traps, how frequently they hunted, and ultimately where they chose to establish their territories at all. In some documented cases, wolf packs that had used a particular area for years simply stopped appearing after tigers moved through or established a regular presence there. The wolves didn't fight, they didn't compete, they relocated. Part of this comes down to direct predation. Siberian tigers have been documented killing wolves, not as a primary food source, but opportunistically, and with enough regularity that wolves in these areas appear to have developed a learned behavioral awareness of tiger presence. When a tiger marks its territory with scent, wolves in the region respond by adjusting their movement patterns, avoiding the marked areas, and in some cases shifting their home range entirely. It's a form of landscape-level control that operates not through constant confrontation, but through the threat of one. There's also a resource competition element. Both species are apex predators that rely heavily on sika deer, wild boar, and red deer as prey. In areas where tigers are actively hunting, prey animals adjust their own behavior, moving more cautiously, using different parts of the landscape, which in turn affects where wolves can successfully hunt. Wolves don't just leave because they fear tigers directly. They leave because the entire ecosystem around a tiger shifts in ways that make that territory harder and harder for a wolf pack to survive in. What makes this particularly striking is the scale of the effect. Researchers documented this behavioral suppression across large portions of the Sikhote-Alin Biosphere Reserve, a region spanning hundreds of square miles. This wasn't one pack reacting to one tiger. It was a region-wide pattern, consistent across multiple packs and multiple tiger individuals, playing out over years of observation. A single species, through presence alone, reshaping where wolves could and couldn't survive across an enormous landscape. And here's the detail that puts it all in context. The Siberian tiger was itself nearly hunted to extinction by the mid-20th century. At their lowest point in the 1940s, fewer than 40 individuals remained in the wild. As tiger populations have slowly recovered, there are now estimated to be around 500 to 600 in the wild. The effect on wolf populations in those recovering territories has been documented alongside them. Tiger recovery in this specific ecosystem correlates with wolf retreat, one animal's return reshaping the distribution of another across an entire region.
So the next time someone tells you wolves have no natural enemies worth worrying about, remind them about the Russian Far East, where a 700-pound cat moved into a valley and entire wolf packs decided, collectively, that it was time to find somewhere else to live. Which predator surprises you more, the tiger for dominating wolves, or the wolves for being smart enough to know when to leave? Drop it in the comments, and subscribe to NatureCrest for more deep dives into the animal kingdom's most extraordinary rivalries.